Actually, I'll answer the longer term picture first. I'll be 64 in May, and my dad is 92 and a half, and he drives himself to work every day, and he's still writing, and he's got a few consulting clients. He did a series of 6 speeches for the Kauffman Institute. It's an entrepreneurial foundation in Kansas City over the last 12 months, and he did retire from the tennis courts at 90 because he has a structural knee problem that finally forced him to retire. But he's still getting his exercise and so forth. And he's a role model. I just think that I want to as long as I can read and write and think and so forth. I can listen to my body and I can slow down. But I'm not ever going to retire. So given that bigger picture. Yes, I've been working as an independent, traveling business professor, guru, consultant kind of guy for the world of independent distribution channels for, it'll be 34 years this January, January 1980. And along the way, I got a portfolio of stuff, and I bumped into Randy McLean 5+ years ago, and I said, Randy, this solves a problem that I've been working on since 1976 operationally, but trying to teach it from 79 on. And I could help you to really make this a total, not just a tool, but like a tool shed. And so he said, well, great. So I've been working with him on an arm's length basis. But right off the bat, he said, well, I'd be happy to talk about some sort of option if you want to buy stock in the company. So I said, well, great. No rush to. If the price doesn't change, why buy sooner, why not buy later? So for a lot of reasons, it just made sense at the end of this past year to say, fine, not only will I exercise my option and buy some stock, but I'll take who knows, it might probably be about a half-time job, and we try to think of what would be the job description. Well, WayPoint now has got a highly evolved total management process solution, if you will, or service. Not that the enhancement list doesn't continue to grow. I mean, the more clients WayPoint get, the more they say, this would be nice, we want. A lot of them are fine-tuning kind of things because the big structural important things have already been sort of taken care of. But there's still some significant progress to be or value to be added to the package, which when you subscribe, you get the updates all the time. You have to worry about any upgrades or anything like that. But what we have found out is the clients that self-select to WayPoint service, generally they're sort of top 10 percentile performers in a traditional industry sense. I mean, they are bigger, better, smarter, ambitious people. And we think, oh, we'll just give the thing and they'll all get it. They don't. It turns out that what's emerged is a little bit of a bell-shaped curve. So we have some guys that are getting 4 times, 8 times the benefits, if you will, of the average client who's getting 4 times more than the lagging sort of group. Not that the lagging group isn't happy. I mean, there's some people who say, if I give you X and I make 4X on it, I'm happy. I mean, the fact that I'm not making 25X, well, that bothers me a little bit, sort of, But the question really is, how do we take this bell-shaped curve and get them all in the top decile, if you will? And so we came with the title of Vice President of Client Results. In other words, everybody's biggest pain, particularly if you think about taking care of customers' problems, is, I want to grow my profits. I don't know how to grow my profits in a mature, consolidating commodity football world. I'm in commodity hell here. How do I grow my profits? So distributors should be asking that question of what are they doing to grow their profits of their customers. So that's what I'm going to endeavor to do. And the first thing you do, of course, you go look at the superstars, the best versus the rest. You say, what's the difference, and why aren't the rest readily doing, or why can't they readily do what the best are doing? We could talk some more if you wanted to about what are those characteristics of some of the best. But all right, what we're finding is that if I never really liked it, but the C-suite, the chief fill in everything. But there are 4 key people in a distribution business. There's the CEO, there's the chief financial person who's really kind of overlooks the financial reporting, all the IT and so forth. Then there's the vice president of sales. Sales has always been big in distribution channels. And then, you buy it. You buy it to sell it. It's a pretty simple business. So maybe vice president of purchasing, those 4 people. if they all together get it, in other words, it's very hard to measure and see something that's never been measured before. And if it hasn't been measured, it doesn't exist. So to say to people, hey, WayPoint clients start growing their business 2 or 3 times faster. Instead of growing 3% a year, they're growing 15% a year in sales. They've quintupled their profits in 2 years. One guy went from 0 profits per employee to $76,000 in employee in 30 months. While he was growing his sales 17% a year. And people say, incredible, I don't believe it, type of thing. So we can give case studies, but when you go and you try to check with those 4 people and you say, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you really believe it, and so forth? The conceive, believe, achieve, they're not all getting over that through that process at the same speed. So if all 4 are on the same page and all buy into the huge upside, then stuff happens. If I go into the laggard group, I might say, oh, here's some CEO whose best friend in the industry called up and said, I've been using WayPoint. We're coining money. This is the coolest thing. I'm working less. Everybody thinks I'm a hero. You've got to get it. The guy goes, oh, okay. So he tells his chief financial officer to go figure it out and get it. And the guy goes, oh, okay. And they start doing it, but it goes on the guy's to-do list at the bottom, and he or she's a busy person, right? And nothing gets going. So the service never gets activated, gets going, whatever. It just stops. So that would be a contrast of 4 people all on the same page. And I could go more into, do those 4 people have the same vision of what they could be doing? I mean, the simplest one is if you just rebalance your service energy. I mean, you only got so many outside, inside salespeople, warehouse people, drivers, back office people doing what they do. It's a process business. So if all these fulfillment people are busy, how do we get them to do 20% more margin dollar with the same activity rate? That would be working smarter as opposed to harder. So how do we do that? Well, part of it is rebalancing the service energy. If you have 1,000 accounts and 800 are little growing nowhere minnows, where you're giving them traditional wholesale services, they're giving you retail-sized orders, and you're losing money in every order, that's not a good investment of your service energy. But it distracts you from doing a much deeper, more thorough job, which you didn't even know existed if you don't have WayPoint to do deep dive analytics on your very best customers. So there really is much bigger share of best customers you can get, and you will get it if you only gave them the amount of service energy they actually deserve. I mean, your very best customers, you are underservicing them and overpricing them and making massive profits to cross-subsidize, all the basically moribund minnows. So most people can understand that. I'm not saying they have the courage to act because it's just not the way things have been done. But a next group would say, oh, but gee, wouldn't it be great if we also improved our service value? And Bruce has convinced me that not every customer segment buys the same one-stop shop of assortment. I was talking to an electrical wholesaler. He said, yeah, we do fill-in stuff for utility companies. They buy very different things than commercial contractors who buy very different things than residential contractors who buy very different things than motor control people and so forth. So to take one segment of customer and for that group do what we call an SKU profitability popularity ranking report to sort of see what that group's been buying, and then tune those SKUs so that your most profitable ones have the highest fill rates on the planet, and the super losing ones, you figure out how to fix them. Then profitability takes off because the service value goes up and the cost of taking care of them actually drops. Because when a guy calls up and says, I want 10 of these, we don't say, we have 5, we'll back order 5 and create 2 transactional costs and less service for you. We'll bring it in from the main DC, we'll bring it from another branch and create 2-3 times the internal transactional activity cost for one order if we just had it here now. But we didn't know how to tune our inventory any finer than what we were doing historically. And then a third level would be this allows us to basically get all the employees educated about what service is, sign them up to play the game because we need their help. We've uncovered this new vein of gold. We need them all get their picks and shovels and get out there and do it. So the idea that we could go open book and now there's a line of sight between, oh, I'm in the warehouse and if we do 100% receiving same day, We know the A+ items that are arriving, because we don't reorder D items. They're still in stock collecting dust. The A+ items, when they're in stock and on the computer tomorrow morning, our fill rates go up on those items. And if our fill rates go up, our margin dollar per line item goes up, our margin dollar per employee goes up, our profit per employee, and this is my gain share mode. So you have to give them a line of sight to that so they can see what's in it for them. And not just what's in it for me, but what's in it for we, every day. And so all these tracking reports, these incentive reports, that's all part of the WayPoint management system. Hi, Bruce Merrifield again. If you found this video helpful, then we have more to share with you. And the way you can do that is to head over to the APIC conference. So it's apicconference2cs.com/profit and sign up for our Innovative Profit Tips series. It's a good collection of materials, all designed to show you how to drive more revenue in the distribution sector without having to increase your sales, although they may go up. Or you can simply text your name and email address to, here's the number, write it down, 480-207-3433, and we'll get you started right away.